Neftella, not Nefty, Neftella Espada. Mr. Espada continues to be self-represented. This is Butler County District Court, case number 2025 DM 166. The paternity case. The Camden is at least 14 if he hasn't turned 15.
15.
But apparently the parties co-parented sufficiently, or the truth of the matter is there just wasn't a paternity case filed until July of 2025. And I entered orders for mediation that was unsuccessful. And then I ordered them to go to domestic conciliation so that I could get recommendations. And I think I wanted something from the family therapist. Our last hearing, though, was 8/14 of 25. The Saturday visitations weren't going well. I ordered them to go to Don Beffert for domestic conciliation. Overnights with mom on Saturdays. Dad to forward counselors information. Mom to sign a release with family therapists. And I don't know what all you've received, Miss Hoyle. This morning, I received a letter from Camden, which I did not request, and some grades, which aren't great, from Mr. Espada. I hope you received those.
I did not.
They forwarded them on the email as well to her.
Yeah, I haven't received them if you were talking about forwarding them to me.
No,
Yes.
to Miss Hoyle.
Oh.
I'm looking at the 8/12 of 25 Meadowlark Counseling report as well. Did you have that before the last hearing? That's about all I have. So Miss Hoyle, is there any additional?
Buckle up. Today we're diving into a custody case full of years of unresolved tension. The judge begins by outlining the messy background. No formal paternity case was filed until recently. Even though a teenager is caught in the middle, mediation failed. Counseling reports are incomplete, and basic documents like grades and letters keep arriving late. From the start, it's clear this case has been drifting without structure.
Evidence you wanted the court to review or that was available?
Your Honor, I don't have the grades or the letter from Camden.
Amy, would you forward those to her, please?
And I can present evidence of the text messages for the visitation at this time, but they're still not going very well. In fact, there has been the last 3 scheduled visits have not occurred. And I can report that I did speak to Don Befort, the domestic conciliator, and to get that started and set up. I had reached out to her previously and finally got a response back yesterday. So she's got a schedule on that.
Dad, I don't have any updated therapist information involving Camden. Where's that at?
On the email today. I don't know if they go through. I emailed through my phone, so I might have a little trouble with that. But I tried to send that to you too as well with all the other information.
Okay, well, I think Amy printed out everything she got from you, and I don't have that, and I need that. That was ordered today.
Yeah.
Ms. Hoyle, I guess you're going to have to serve him with a contempt citation if he's not following the court's order on visitation, and we'll have to have a contempt hearing.
Your Honor.
Yes, I don't know what to tell you, Mr. Espada, but I granted you residential
Yes,
custody,
sir.
even though you enrolled him against court orders where you weren't given permission in Hutch. You've stayed in Hutch. I've given mom some time. I've emphasized how important it is for kids to work through issues with their parent, and he needs to have time with both parents and not be estranged from one or the other. And he wasn't supposed to be involved in the litigation. And
He's not involved with that. That was from his therapist. Said that was something you should do. And Your Honor, when I did the visitations, she had her overnight. She was arrested for, still going through that. I mean, they haven't pressed charges, but it's in front of, I think it's Brett Sweeney's dad. She was arrested for driving under the influence and child endangerment is what I've been told by my son. Called me during that visitation late at night to come pick him up because his mom was being arrested.
Well, if that's true, that would be justification for termination and getting her into some sobriety testing program and confirming that she's in treatment. So has your client been arrested for DUI and endangerment? And was it during a visitation that she was
Focus quickly turns to visitation, and it's messy. 3 scheduled visits never happen, and communication between the parents is clearly broken. Then the father makes a serious allegation. The mother was arrested during a visit while their son was present. That immediately shifts the hearing from routine parenting disputes to concerns about safety and stability.
It was
Yes,
8:30.
there was an arrest. She was never charged, and yes, it was during a visitation.
Well, just because she hasn't been charged doesn't mean that she won't be. So we've got a problem.
Judge, I got arrested for driving on suspended is what it was. The person I was with was intoxicated, and I felt like I was in a catch-22. Me and my kid in danger, or me drive knowing I shouldn't. And I drove, and when I got pulled over, I told the officer not to let her drive with my child in the car because she was intoxicated. That was why I was driving. That's when he arrested me for child endangerment. The DUI, because we watched her get out of the car, almost fall over, try to get in the car, couldn't get in the car, and he let her drive off with my children. And my child was in the car, and I lost it on him.
Well, I can't imagine that, but it should be all on his lapel mic. It should be all on his body cam. I would suggest you get a lawyer.
It is, Judge. I had court 5 days after being arrested and no charges were filed. I went to court and it was no charges. You're free to go.
All right. Well, it sounds like it's still chaos in your life and he doesn't like it. He doesn't want to be part of it.
Your Honor, I did try to give her visitation last weekend. I thought maybe I'd give her a chance. And I messaged and to see because apparently she moved. So I just wanted to update on her address. So I just felt comfortable giving her the visitation. And her response to me was, "You need to get it from my lawyer." I emailed her, which I probably should have, but it was, I wanted him to see how it went this time. But she wanted me to get it through her lawyer. And I said that I didn't feel comfortable giving her the visitation without knowing the address where I'm going to leave my son.
Okay, Ms. Foyle, as your client moved. Okay, both of you need to be quiet for a minute. Ms. Foyle,
my client has a mailing address that's different than her physical address, and I think that there was some confusion as to where she was living, but I did send that over to him as to the specific address. I do not believe that she's moved.
Ms. Wood, are you still out at the lake? It looks like you're
in Augusta. I'm still in a camper. And Judge, him responding to me about picking my son up and my address, me telling him to contact my lawyer, was 20 minutes after he was supposed to meet me, and I had left. I was there waiting for my child.
I'm going to suspend visitation and have an in-person trial. And Mr. Espada, I would suggest, if you have strong feelings.
The mother pushes back, insisting the arrest wasn't for DUI, but for driving on a suspended license while trying to stop an intoxicated person from taking the child. Whether that's true or not, the judge sees one clear theme: chaos. Meanwhile, the father says he tried to arrange another visit, but hesitated when he couldn't confirm where the child would actually be staying.
About this, and your son has strong feelings, that you get an attorney so that you can subpoena the appropriate people, including his counselor. I've got to have a professional testifying with regard to his best interests.
Yes, ma'am.
In order to do any long-term suspension of visitation.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would suggest, Ms. Wood, that you look into individual counseling if you're not in it, and get a hair follicle for alcohol, and we'll see about some sobriety testing.
Judge, alcohol wasn't involved, but that's fine.
Well, it's just, if you're surrounding yourself with people that you got to fight with to drive their vehicle, and they're that drunk, and he's got to be around all these drunk drunk people.
He wasn't in
That's
the
just as
vehicle.
bad as not as bad as you being drunk, but it's still the same chaos that caused the change of custody and the issues to begin with.
Judge, the chaos isn't, this is different than what changed or what caused him to get my child. The reason I'm in a camper is because I could have gone to a woman's shelter with my children because of the situation I was in with my mother. And instead I
understand. I understand that. I understand that you've had some significant problems and I wasn't blaming them all on you. But he is voicing at 15 years old concerns about your lifestyle and how you treat him and some pretty significant things. And then I find out about
I've talked to Elena about this. I have a video recording because I received a message and a 2.5-hour phone call about what's really happening over there. How do I present that, or who do I present that to?
Well, talk to your attorney because I'm going to schedule a trial, and that's where all the evidence needs to be exchanged in advance and brought to the courtroom. All right, I'm going to look to see if we can make this happen in 25. Mr. Espada, before I forget, I want your son to get some tutoring.
Okay.
Judge,
I need that counseling information. No more interruption. No more talking without your attorney.
At this point, the judge steps in to slow things down. Visitation is temporarily suspended, and a full in-person trial is ordered to sort out the accusations. The father is told to get legal representation and gather evidence, while the mother is encouraged to pursue counseling and alcohol testing. The judge emphasizes that decisions will be based on proof, not competing stories.
Ms. Hoyle, how does your Friday, November 14th look?
I still have still on the calendar. I think it's supposed to be going away, but I've got a hearing in the Veterans Court that Friday. I'm hoping that one kind of gets bumped, but it hasn't bumped. They just sent an email that they didn't bump.
What about December the 15th?
I have a hearing at 2:15 that day. Otherwise, I can be available.
You have a what? 2:15?
I have a 2:15 hearing.
Okay. Where's that at?
It's on Zoom it's in front of Judge Journey in Sedgwick County.
So you could do it from here if you have your computer and stuff in one of our
Yes.
rooms. Okay. All right. I'm going to schedule this case for trial Monday, December the 15th at 9 a.m. I'm temporarily suspending mom's visits. Mr. Spada, again, unless you have the wherewithal, you need to produce evidence of prosecution, evidence of conviction, maybe officer's testimony or reports from the counselor. You may contact the court in advance for permission to bring your son when it gets closer to time, and I'll decide he cannot be in the courtroom, but we have some conference rooms he could sit in that I may request counsel to allow me to visit with him privately or with a court reporter, whatever's requested. And then whatever you have, Ms. Wood, with regard to coaching or things in his household, you can bring to the court, and I can try to sort all of this out once and for all. I would prefer to have something where there is visitation and co-parenting rather than all or nothing. Seems to be how things keep working. But I will just have to take in the evidence that I get that day, make a definitive decision for him moving forward, what's in his best interest.
The discussion shifts to scheduling, but tension remains. After reviewing conflicting calendars, the judge sets a trial date and reminds both parents that evidence and witnesses will be key. The teenage son's well-being stays central, with the judge suggesting tutoring and the option of speaking with him privately to see what's really happening behind the scenes.
And it's up to each of you to present compelling evidence to convince me one way or another.
Your Honor, are we still under the order for the domestic conciliation?
Yes, I want them to try that, but if she screens them, not even so much domestic violence type screening, but where she believes that, they just can't be in a room together, then she may have to let us know that too. If she can't do it separately by Zoom, or she's concerned about keeping control of the clients, then she's going to have to let me know. But yeah, I think conciliation would be some third-party insight and recommendations that I could have hopefully by December 15th. If both parties participate, which I ordered them to do, and get going with it. And that person will hear both sides and do some independent questioning and maybe talk to your son and give the court recommendation, which is generally helpful and generally required in most courtrooms before you have a custody trial. But I just can't seem to get a handle on this case, which is why I feel like I need to give you a trial date and us be in person in the courtroom and under courtroom protocol. I need you to exchange all evidence and witnesses that you intend to call by December 5th. Amy, were you able to find the therapist report?
And Miss Hoyle had responded saying that she was going to try to obtain one yesterday, but I'm assuming she wasn't able to obtain one because we don't have one.
Well, Mr. Spotted said it was part of what he forwarded to us.
No, the only thing that I have received from him was what I printed out earlier.
It must have not went through. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I want you to try again with the therapist update.
Yes, ma'am.
And send it to Miss Hoyle and myself so she has that ahead of time.
Yes, ma'am.
And you or your attorney, if you get one, can arrange Miss Hoyle. I tried to print it this morning and I think it's waiting for me to plug my computer hardwired back in my printer so that I can see the adoption of the new court rule, but there is a court rule on requesting Zoom appearances. So if we have a therapist that has to appear by, in a hybrid fashion where we're in person, but elicit testimony by Zoom, you have to follow that new procedure. But generally, I do allow that upon request within reason.
Okay.
I'm not going to do a pretrial conference at this point because I find that they don't come together with pro se folks. So if he hires a lawyer and then I may request that you come up with the pretrial conference order beforehand and we have a conference if we need one. But otherwise, I think just an exchange of witnesses and exhibits will be probably the best we'll get for the trial.
Yeah, sure.
Anything further today?
No, Your Honor.
No.
All right, then we are adjourned. Thank you.
The final moments are procedural but revealing. Evidence must be exchanged before trial. Therapist reports are still missing, and rules for remote testimony are explained. It shows just how messy and unprepared this case has been. The judge now wants everything organized and presented properly so a final decision can finally bring clarity. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.